What's happening, Brighton? The short answer is a lot. The long answer is this podcast. What's Up, Brighton is a show dedicated to the community we all love.
Hosted by Roger Burnett, Eric Meldrum, and Coach Mark Howell, this podcast will feature news, issues, and discussions impacting Livingston County and celebrate the people who make our slice of Michigan go and grow. This is What's Up, Brighton. So what's up, Brighton? Welcome to episode 24 of the podcast. That there is Eric. And in what is in keeping with tradition, we've got guests for you.
What's
but
up?
In the meantime, before we introduce Tyler, Coach Mark, Eric, what happened to Coach Mark?
I believe he was called to save lives today.
He's volunteering, coordinating for what should be one killer event tomorrow at Mount Brighton.
Warriors for Hope.
Warriors for Hope. It's the 5K trail run for Fun to Life. If you've not been, you missed out on your opportunity because this already released the show. The thing, yeah, it already happened.
It already happened.
But
Windows passed.
What a great time as somebody who has both run in it and volunteered. Super great time. If you see people running around Mount Brighton and you weren't aware of what was going on, now you just found out. Warriors for Hope next year, 2025. If you haven't been participating, we'd love to see you there. So, Eric, you decided to invite a new friend to the program today.
Yeah, we're bringing in guests. We got the hot seat here with Tyler. So, Tyler, why don't you introduce yourself and tell everybody who you are and what you do?
Yeah, what's up, everybody? My name is Tyler Osantowske. I've lived in Brighton for a long time now, and I founded and started a couple years ago basically a social media agency where I help businesses manage their social media, create content, and really help maximize their brand on socials in a way that isn't salesy. It's very personal. It's our goal is not to help businesses sell, though that is a byproduct of what we do. Our goal is really to help businesses build relationships with their audience and with their community. So I've been doing that for a couple of years. I kind of live in that space in the social media world, and yeah.
So key. Yeah. So we'll get into that. We got tons of questions, and I know this is a topic that Roger, you're also passionate about. So we got a lot to talk about.
Oh yeah.
But just want to when we met, it's kind of fitting, because social media was what brought us together.
Yeah.
All the stuff that we were doing in the group. I had an event, that we were promoting. It was a family fun day, downtown Brighton. And that was a great event. We brought the community together. We brought some things for the kids to do. And we actually sold more at one of the businesses downtown. I didn't sell anything. It was really just the business that we had a co-sponsorship with. We actually had record sales, more so than the Brighton Art Fair or the Taste of Brighton has ever brought to that business. So he was very appreciative. That's Oh My Lolly with my friend Keith Karp over there. But when we met, we didn't know each other at all. We just gave away a random prize. You guys were the recipient of it. And then I remember I friended you on Facebook, right? And then we've just been following each other ever since. And our paths just crossed. It was, hey, you're doing this marketing, you're doing social media, so am I. Right. And then it just kept layering on and layering on and layering on. It's finally, hey, we should meet up and
we should probably be friends.
Yeah, we should probably do something.
Like real life friends.
Did we just become best friends?
Exactly.
Right. So that was really cool how that kind of all came together, because we're both in the social space, with our businesses. You kind of more behind the scenes, and directing businesses how to do it and how to not be so salesy, as you said. So that was really cool, and it's been great. Tyler's been working on some projects here with What's Up Brighton. If you've seen any of the sizzler reels of businesses that we went around, we did I think 4 of them in one day.
Yeah, 4 or 5.
Just captured some content. Gave the businesses a little bit of promo, showed people what they did, and I think they turned out great.
Yeah,
that was some great work.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was really fun just to be able to get out in the community, and they're always so open to it too. You walk in and you're like, hey, we do stuff on social media. We want to shoot some video stuff. And they're always so open to be able to take it. So, what's super cool about that event too, is the family event back in the day, was I didn't even go to it. Maddie, my wife, brought my kids to it. I was out of town or something. She's like, I'm gonna go to this family fun day. Went to it. I remember her texting me being like, that was a ton of fun. It's like totally random. No idea like who was putting on, what was going on, but she's like, kids had a blast, whatever. And I remember watching the live stream that you guys did, or maybe it was a video of picking a winner, and you picked Brooks, who is my oldest kid. And it's like, Brooks Osantowske, you won. And me and my wife are sitting there going, let's go. That's awesome. And being able to meet you after was sweet. And so, yeah, it's cool how, that's one of the reasons I love social media is that, I feel like it gets a bad rep sometimes in our culture, but it really, if it's done well and done right, it's so relational. I mean, that's like that's how we met, was through social media. So, yeah, definitely super cool.
I'm pretty sure I butchered your last name. I don't even think I tried to pronounce it when I think I spun the wheel. I'm like, it's Brooks. Whoever's Brooks parents, please contact us.
Exactly.
You guys.
That's my life. Yep. Yeah.
That's awesome. So what I wanted to get into this topic, because I know you guys are both passionate about this, and so am I. And we have a lot of local businesses here. A lot of people also try to promote in the group, right? And this is one thing we see often, and we try to share what we can without necessarily saying, hey, don't do this, right? We just have a policy of just no advertising, and that always confuses people. Of like, I see other people doing this, so I'm going to do this. And I know that's vague, but like there's a fine line between advertising and storytelling.
Yeah.
Right. Or just really being casual about like introducing yourself, to the group to let people know who you are, what you do, and why it might be important for them to maybe take notice of that occasionally. So what are some of the common mistakes that small businesses make, when they try to start promoting or advertising their business, on socials?
Yeah, I definitely think the number one mistake that businesses make when it comes to social media is if their entire feed is just promotional stuff. So, for example, you own a clothing store and all of your content is just like, we're having a sale here, come in and buy this product, come in, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me, buy my stuff, give me money, like give me business. And I think the flip side of that is if businesses could, like you said, there's a difference between being promotional and storytelling. What is it in your business? How is your business giving value to your audience or to your community? Don't always talk about what you sell. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a place for that. People need to know what you sell, what you do, whatever services or product. But what else is happening in your business? How, do you support? Do you give in some sort of way to nonprofits or to charities? Do you, what do you do to support your community? And if you ask yourself that question and you can't think of the answer, well, then you need to even take a step back before you even talk about social media. You need to figure out and answer that question. So definitely my biggest thing and where my heart is in that is that businesses need to stop using social media as a billboard and use it as an actual tool to build relationships with their audience. You think of some of the biggest companies in the world, and the ones that are successful are the ones that are either entertaining their audience, educating their audience. They're not just selling their stuff. And that's what I got so annoyed with. I started my career in the church world, and I was even seeing that in churches where it was like, come to our Sunday morning, come to our event, come to this, come to that. And it's like, could you just stop talking about what you're doing?
I had no idea church was on Sunday morning.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So, that's what I've seen is just the biggest mistake you can make as a business is just talk about yourself. Just talk about what you're selling. Just talk about the services you offer. Do something outside of that. Give your audience on social media and your community, give them value through what you post.
Yeah, how you help them. And I think we talked about this, it was like a couple months ago, right? Where we're talking about business, like big businesses, and people were kind of pulling back away from big businesses. Like, well, why is that happening? Right? And people are kind of shifting towards like, I want the local business. I'm tired of the Amazon, the Walmart, the big corporations. And there's a reason why, right? And I think that goes into what you're talking about with letting people know why doing business with you is important. And people just don't want to be a number. Like they want to have a sense of purpose, with this, whether it's tied to a nonprofit that's local, like that purpose driven. And this is what kind of got us on this topic was the purpose driven, business model, which Roger basically founded, one of your companies off. It was like, we are a purpose driven company.
We lived it for sure.
We lived it. Like that speaks so loudly to what I see as a shift, happening with businesses, because some of the best, well, I shouldn't say best, but some of the content that I find myself kind of like gravitated towards are like the founders of those companies on like TikTok or Instagram that is shared the story from start to finish of like, it's not even finished. It's like start to eternity, right? Where like, hey, we just founded this company. Like, here's what we do. Here's what we did. And then they're showing like, hey, we're packing orders today, right? Yeah. And here's something going into it. And they're putting like a smiley face sticker into the box. And it's like, we're trying to spread, hope. We're trying to spread smiles out there. And they'll sell like, deodorant or something. It's like, okay, how does deodorant spread smiles? Like, who cares? But we are trying to do it because that's our purpose. Like we want everyone to be happy and we want them to smell good.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And it's that fact too of like giving value comes from not just you don't just have to express it, right? You can show it. And there's a way on social media to show, it goes back to what you were saying earlier, storytelling. What is the story in your product? How does putting a smiley face sticker in a package show value? Well, it shows that you care about your clients. It shows that you care about your customers, right? It's not just a stick of deodorant in a normal box, ship it and it's out. You're showing there is strategy there. So for sure, it's awesome to see.
Things that are often considered to be universal truths. The flip side of that is the cynic would say that's a cliche, but the cliches are true, right? So the biggest cliche that I've relied upon in my professional career is people buy from people they know, like, and trust. And what I've learned and what I teach in a lot of my content is we all agree that's true. You guys agree that's true? Most people don't know how to make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And just because you understand that there's a continuum that starts with knowing someone, developing some like for them, and then ultimately arriving at trust. It's not like someday Tyler and I'm going to get a postcard in the mail from him that says, congratulations, you made it to my trust phase. What I need to understand is, what am I looking for from those people to help me understand the fact that we've moved ourselves along this continuum from they just know who I am to now they kind of like who I am to now they actually trust me enough to want to give me money to do what it is that I do. And what I believe social media does for most business owners is it gives you a chance to do that for people in a way that's not something you have to do in the moment that they're in front of you.
Yeah.
And so by giving someone that chance, that through a referral, through word of mouth, through a chance encounter with me, inevitably, if you're a social media consumer, you go and be like, I want to learn about this Roger guy. Let's go find out if what I just found out from him is legit.
Yeah.
And if there's nothing there, it creates a problem for the business owner, because if I was jazzed about you and then I go look for more evidence that that's who you are and I can't find it, now I'm like, well, was that just a moment in time? Did they happen to catch me at a time when like it just vibed correctly? Or is that a thing? So now what I've essentially done is made it so that the only way that you can get that from me is through me. That's where, to me, where the real problem lies. Tyler, I mean, like, yes?
Yeah,
right?
I mean, definitely. I think it's, it goes back to the point of like, and even going back to your question with businesses and social media, what you're doing on social media is you're building a relationship, right? You're building trust, and you're doing that through being consistent and showing up consistently, so that when somebody thinks of you, you want to show people that you're there to solve a problem. They might not have that problem in the moment, but if they've seen you consistently over social media and on their feed, they're inherently building trust with you. Like if they keep following you and keep seeing your content, you're building that trust with them and you're building that relationship with them to a point where when they have that problem that you solve, you're the first person they think of. And it's because you've built that relationship. You've shown up in that way. And
And
that's the power of social.
Therein lies the problem right there.
Right.
Right. That is why people struggle with this, is because you need to keep showing up every single day and saying the same thing over and over and over and over. And as any human nature will tell you, like, well, I feel like I've already said that.
Right.
Right. And but what most people don't understand is that this thing called social media, right? These algorithms that kind of control how our posts are distributed to our audience, distributed to our friends, how they can reach, people that might not even know us, today. They're all based on engagement, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, I may post something, on day one, and maybe my aunts, see it. Maybe my sisters see it, some friends, maybe like less than 1% of my whole entire friend list on Instagram or Facebook will see that post. Right. So everyone has this in the perception of like, oh, I don't want to keep saying the same thing and bore my audience. Like, dude, nobody saw it.
Right.
Like, trust me, nobody saw that post. Like, say it again. All right. Keep doing it. And I'm guilty of that. Like, making similar content, like, maybe just did that. Like, maybe try something, so this creates this, like, you get in your head, and when you have to break it down for somebody like that and really tell them, like, you got to show up every single day and have the consistency, they don't understand what that means. They don't understand that this is a long game. It's not like I'm going to put a post out like, here comes the business.
Right.
Right. And that's what we see, a lot of like, if I could just get my post in the group, right, and let people know I have a 20% off sale this week, or, we're open till 11 o'clock because the Taste of Brighton is going on. Like, that's miraculously going to get more people through the door. Instead of, if some business owner came on and did a video, right? Because a lot of these are like graphics,
Right.
A lot of times, you just have a graphic.
Mediocre graphics.
Yeah, mediocre
Canva.
graphics.
Thank you, Canva.
Canva Pro.
I think they were doing a lot of them in like Paint. Yeah. Sale 50%. But if a business owner was trying to come on and do a video and told a story about it, like, hey, we're so happy to be part of the Taste of Brighton, this year. We have a booth out there, and just want to let everybody know we're going to be open till 11 o'clock tonight, to stay open late for the Taste of Brighton. All right. We're normally closed at 11, but, come on down, show us some support. We'd love to meet you. And we got some goodies that we're giving away. Like, we would let that stuff go through all day long.
Yeah.
Right. Instead of like, if that post was, we are open late till 11 o'clock, that's all about me. Right. Come see me, instead of telling the story like, hey, we're here at Taste of Brighton. This is amazing. Look at what's going on over here, like over there.
Right.
And then it's just a different feel. Right. Do you guys feel how different that is?
Yeah.
Than just putting a post out there like, here you go.
Yeah, because what that does too is, using the example of a video of you being at Taste of Brighton, the highlight point is not necessarily that you're open till 11 or you're open till late. The highlight is, I'm at this event that supports the community that we're in. But then two, you're showing a face. And so whether it's a business owner or it's an employee that runs their socials or whoever it is, it's giving a personality to that business, right? People don't relate to businesses, they relate to people. And so if you are putting your face out there, like, that's one of the things I tell my clients all the time is like, if anything, I want more faces, more smiling faces in your content than graphics made on Canva or online somewhere. I want more faces. I want more people that are involved. I want more people that are in your company. I want more faces that are in your community, because people relate to people. There is such a difference, even if you don't do a video in that situation. If you put a picture of the 3 employees that are hanging out behind the booth at Taste of Brighton with smiling faces, or you're taking pictures with, your first customer of the day or first person to show up, like, you're highlighting people, you're not highlighting your business. And some people might argue that of like, well, ultimate goal is to make money. Sure, I get that, but there's a way to do that isn't salesy. There's a way to do, that's marketing 101 is figuring out that issue of, you need to be able to relate to people and you need people to relate to you. And so doing something like that where you're showing your face and you're highlighting something other than your business it gives a personality. And it goes all the way back to what we said earlier. It builds trust. It builds relationships.
Yeah. There was a, sorry, I'll let you go.
No, go ahead.
There was a study done on thumbnails on
Yeah.
YouTube, and
Yep.
Netflix actually did, because like you look at the movie cover, that's pretty much a thumbnail, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly what it is.
Same thing. And so Netflix did this study along with YouTube of what thumbnails perform the best, and the clear winner out of all of them were always a thumbnail with a smiling face.
Yep.
Or a face in general, whether it's a shocked face or a face like, most iconic YouTuber, Mr. Beast.
Yeah.
He's in every single one of the thumbnails.
Yep.
Right? There's a face and it's him. And he tried it. It was funny because he's like, I have the same face in pretty much every single thumbnail. And it's not even like a smile. It's not even like
It's like a stoic.
It's like a grin. It's like,
Yeah.
like, I don't even know what it is, but you should go check it out. But he tried to do a mad face one time because he saw some other channels that like, oh, those views are getting better because like it's creating this sort of not animosity, but like friction of like, hey, I want to know what's going on. And so he tried it, and his views plummeted. Right? Like he was like, oh, I'm never trying that again. Like that was terrible. Like people know me for this like stoic look. I'm just gonna keep going with it. So that speaks to consistency. Same thing, showing up every single day doing the same thing.
Yep.
But utilizing that face.
Yeah.
Are you or a loved one struggling with the effects of stroke? The Oxford Center in Brighton, Michigan offers a cutting-edge alternative stroke treatment that can help stroke victims even years after having a stroke. Our approach combines traditional medicine with evidence-based alternative therapies, including hyperbaric oxygen therapy. This advanced treatment involves breathing pure oxygen in a specialized environment that can stimulate the growth of new blood vessels and promote healing in the brain. We also offer physical therapy, speech therapy, and occupational therapy programs to help patients regain their strength, coordination, and ability to communicate. Time is of the essence when it comes to stroke recovery. Contact the Oxford Center today at 248-486-3636 or visit our website at theoxfordcenter.com to learn more about our alternative stroke treatment options, including hyperbaric oxygen therapy. That's 248-486-3636 or visit theoxfordcenter.com. All right. I owned a business for 5 years. I was responsible for social media for that brand for all 5 of those years. I was on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok, maybe Google Plus. Like, okay, you understand my point. Engagement across platforms is super hard. It's even more difficult if I'm just 1 or 2 or 3 people and all I can do today is get the jobs that I have out the door. I spent a ton of money on a booth for Taste of Brighton, and I'm short-staffed, and I don't have enough people to even work the booth. How the hell am I going to do some social media? Tyler?
Yep.
These are real challenges for small business people. How do we solve this problem for them?
Yeah. So I would say, because you're right, a lot of business owners are saying, I wear so many hats, especially small business owners, mom and pop shops that are in, we'll use Brighton, for example, in downtown Brighton. They wear a lot of hats. They've got small staffs. What do we do? The first thing is I would challenge them to change their mindset a little bit. And that's tough because it is hard. But when we think about the way that marketing works nowadays, is your front door is not your actual front door anymore. People are not looking at, they're not, especially new people are not, new potential customers are not going to look up your business. There's a thing called social proof, right? So say you're a restaurant owner and a new business opens up and you get recommended by your friend, hey, you should go check out this new restaurant in downtown Brighton. You're not going to just trust your friend's recommendation to go down there, right? What's the first thing you're going to do?
I'm going to go to Google and make sure, like, I want to check it out. I want to see the
How many reviews.
I'm going to look up the reviews. I'm going to look up their social media. I'm going to look up all these things online.
See pictures of the food, make sure like I jive with it. I want to see pictures of the inside to make sure I'm not going to some dump.
Right, exactly. And the reality is
that's all legit.
Yeah, your online platforms are your front door. It's whether it's your website or your social media platforms or Google reviews. Those are all your front door now. That's what people are going to go to first before they actually walk through your physical front door. So it really is a mindset change and shift a little bit of saying like, hey, most people are, before they even walk through the doors, they're going to find you on social media. They're going to find you online. If you have no presence there, I would guarantee that a lot of them are going to go, they're going to at least second guess. Do I really want to go there? Or do I want to go to the place down the road that I can look up online? Yep. So really it's a mindset shift. The other thing I would recommend too is, so we'll use the Taste of Brighton, for example, is you're already doing all these things. Set up a phone and record. Set up a phone and record. Put it on, but go to Amazon, buy a $15 tripod. Everybody's got, you don't need no fancy camera. Your phone in your pocket is probably the best camera you've ever owned, unless you're in this space. And set up a tripod and just record what you're doing.
I have the fancy camera and I still record out.
Exactly. My iPhone, 4K now, it's unbeatable. Just record. Just it's that idea of just kind of getting over your fear and getting over yourself and just get on there. It doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be the trendy dances that people think social media is. It's just getting out there and getting your face out on a social platform. Show that you're like a real person. Your business is a real business, and just press record and just post it. And as you get into it, you'll get better. And there'll be times where you're consistent and you're not consistent, and that's okay because you do wear a ton of hats as a business owner. But the reality is just get out there, because again, it's that mindset shift of people need you out there.
Did you just plug Think Media?
No.
Just hit record?
No.
So often, our business is very event driven.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of experience and understanding of how to best leverage that investment for events. The simple fact of just recording is the single most easily overlooked thing.
Totally.
And okay, so let's take it one step further. You recorded it. Who's going to watch it? Well, you are. And you're going to probably be the biggest critic of what you recorded, so that whatever you decide after you've watched all of that recording is going to be the little bit that you really feel confident putting out there. That's what anybody who walked in your booth would really want to know anyway.
Right.
So if you haven't done that, what you've really done is said that enormous expense that I just invested in a moment in time was only a moment in time.
Yeah.
Instead of it being a way for me to capture who we are as a company, what it's like to do business with us, what people react to what we offer when they hear about it for the first time, all of that's lost because you just didn't record.
Yeah, because how many people are coming up to your booth like, oh, what do you do? Like, what is this? And like,
right.
You're constantly, that's why you got the booth. You want to share information. You want to share your products. That's happening all day long.
Well, and think about what better way to then go back and review how people react to what you say than to watch back the tape of what you just recorded.
That's too hard for some people to
figure out, like, this person was like,
I don't want to know that.
Or the other person was like, oh my God, tell me more. Be like, okay, like, why was that person not interested? And why would this person express the kind of interest that they did? All of it is lost. All of it is lost. And to your point, it costs really nothing.
Literally.
It's just, do you have a checklist for what you're about to do? So that you have one more thing on the checklist is like, did we set up the camera? Is it recording? Heaven help you live stream that event to your own page, because now people can watch it in real time. Not only are they seeing your interaction, they're like, oh my God, Taste of Brighton is popping right now. We should be down there.
Yeah.
Right? Like, all of these things are lost.
Right.
So I'll get off my soapbox, because it's like,
it's all hitting on all of the things that are just, I think, overlooked, or it's just a lack of knowledge, for business owners to really understand, like, how do I do this? How do I get my story out there? Because most of these people are not social media. Like, for me, for example, like, it took me a long time to really learn social media, right? Like, and I'm still learning. It's not like, hey, you mastered it and like you figure it out. I'm still learning. Like, you got to be a sponge with this stuff, and it's changing. Right. Instagram is not the same as it was
previously.
TikTok's brand new. Google Plus is dead. You know, it's like, LinkedIn.
MySpace is making a comeback. Sorry.
I think there is a MySpace competitor coming out. But most people don't know any of that, and it's a steep curve. So a lot of business owners, like the HVAC person, for example, shout out to Jen Schulte. She doesn't know social media, right? So she had to go find somebody like, I need a social media manager. And this is where I think a lot of business owners just fall in the trap of like, give me the fix it button. Right. I need the fix it button. So I'm going to hire you. And here's a hard facts, like most restaurants and brick and mortar businesses that are selling goods, in a town like this, they do not have a budget for social media because on average, any professional that knows how to take social media to the next level, and it's going to record content, it's going to edit that content, going to distribute that content and do that. That's not an expense that most business owners can shoulder.
Right. Agreed.
Right. So you have to invest in learning some of this stuff. Right. And I think that's why it's so important. And Tyler, has dedicated, his company and his passion to really helping people do that. Right. And he does that in I think a really unique way where it's not just, hey, let me come out and do this. I've worked with Tyler and there's ideas that are formulating and it's like, this is a interactive thing. Like if it was left up to the business owner, like, hey, I'm going to come out and record. Just tell me what you want to do. The business owner's sitting there like, I have no idea. Like I hired you to tell me this.
Yep.
Right. Like I hired a photographer one time, to take my headshots and they showed up and like, so what do you want to do? I'm like, this is backwards. Like I already felt
Wait
weird. Like this is backwards.
You're fired.
Yeah, exactly. You're fired.
You're fired.
So you have to have that, and you got to look and ask some good questions. Like when hiring or looking to partner with somebody, get really deep into like how that relationship would work. Like what does that statement of work really look like to understand what value am I getting? Not just your social media, you can go figure it out, and you're going to make me ring the sales bell every single week. Like, yes, that does exist, but it also takes a lot of coaching and absorption of like, this is what I need to do. I need to come prepared.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's like, even working with some of the clients that I do. So I'll use one as an example. They are like an exterior design landscaping company. They're up in the thumb. And when you think about that, it's like, okay, how do you make a landscaping company like how do you build relationships through a landscaping company? And it goes back to that idea of like, okay, I want to create content that's educating people or entertaining people or somehow giving value to their audience. So one of the first things we did is, so when I go up there and I shoot content for them, I walk around with their general manager and we go to different work sites and whatnot. And yeah, we could take all the pictures of the products they're putting out and new landscaping that they designed and, all the really pretty drone footage because all the products they work on are like up on lakefront and those look really cool. And yeah, that's super awesome. But the most effective videos and the most engagement that they get on their platforms are the ones where I'm walking around and I got a little mic on their GM and I'm just asking him questions about the project we're at. And I'm just recording. We're recording and I got me and my other videographer that are just following him around and saying, hey, talk about like, you guys put in this sidewalk, which I never knew sidewalks could be entertaining, but he literally made it. Like he educated, we made a video based on, why they decided certain things about this sidewalk that they built. And it was really fascinating to me where it was like, I'm somebody who's like, dude, I don't do landscaping. I will pay I mow my lawn and that's about it. And like, I'll pay anybody to do anything else. But just to hear him. And then when we go and we edit that and we post that, everybody just like blew up. Like, and it's not even necessarily, there's engagement on social, sure. But one of the coolest things he came back to was like, he came back to me like a couple weeks later and was like, man, I had people walking up to me like saying, hey, I saw that video, that's super sweet. Or, hey, I saw this video. I'm seeing like these interview style videos. Those are like really awesome. Hey, I'm really interested in like what you did with this project. Would this be something you could do with my house? And I'm like, well, there's your return. There's your ROI right there. Like they're seeing you as an authority in your space. So now that when they think of, oh, I want something like that, they're coming to you. They're not going to your competitor. That's everything.
And he just built credibility by showing what he knows and how he does it.
Exactly.
All right. So now you got to see him on the job site. Because you ever have a company show up and like your first reaction, is what kind of truck are they going to pull up
Right.
in? Like what kind of truck are they going to pull up in? Like I'm judging them from the moment they pull my driveway to the moment we say hello and the moment we say goodbye. Like that interaction is so important, right? If some guy shows up in a rinky-dink pickup truck, like
right,
you're out, because I know one thing. You don't know how to run a business. I already know that for a fact, that you don't know how to run a business, because if you were, and I say this kindly, but if you were as good as you say you are at what you do, you would have a bigger business, right? Mm-hmm. You would know how to run it. You'd have salespeople. You'd be there. I know everyone can't start there, right?
Right.
But that's what most people, are really looking at.
Yeah.
What are you going to do for me? How is the service going to do? And what happens if something goes wrong during that? He just showed that he's knowledgeable and credible. Like, I already know what to do. We have our crew here. The trucks are nice. That to me it's a good look.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
And really what it is it's authentic, right? I mean, we're kind of seeing a shift in social media, and this is so important for business owners, is that you just don't try and be somebody you're not on social media. Be who you are authentically, because that's what people want. People want authentic content. They don't want fluff. They don't want this extra flashy stuff. They just want to see who you are as a business, who you are as a business owner, and just be authentic, because authenticity is going to win every single time.
Yep. I agree.
I just can't do a good job and provide a good service at a good price. That's not enough anymore, Tyler?
I would argue it's not.
Okay, because, that's the main pushback, right? It's, I'm good at what I do. We charge a reasonable price, and our community of users likes what we do.
Yeah.
And congratulations, you have a business that will never grow.
Right. And that's the key, is right there, is that your business may do really well that way. Like, don't get me wrong. Good businesses have been able to succeed that way for as long as time. But the reality is if you want your business to grow and you want to continue to build relationships with people, that's what I go back to every time, is that social media, it's not a lead generator. Can it be? Sure.
Yeah.
Is that the main focus of it? No. The main focus of social media and really marketing as a whole is to build relationships with your audience.
It's called risk mitigation, okay? Remember what I said? Know, like, trust. We had a pandemic 4 years ago. Not a lot of money was getting spent during the pandemic unless it had something to do with masks, hand sanitizer, that sort of thing. But decisions still need to be made in times of distress, right? So if you're under a tremendous amount of stress and you need to make a decision, whom are you going to make that decision with? People you don't know?
People you know, like, and
people
trust.
you don't necessarily like? Or are you going to do that with only people you really, really trust? So many businesses during the pandemic either survived and thrived or failed based on the number of trust-based relationships they had created. And you don't make a trust-based relationship in a day.
No.
You have to take time to do it. So those of us who were brand new businesses during the pandemic were in a really difficult situation because we hadn't had the time to invest in developing those trust-based relationships that would get somebody to buy a bunch of pens from me in the middle of a pandemic when there was no one to give pens to.
Right.
Right? But if I hadn't done the work to build the trust with the people who trusted me enough to realize, oh, I can get masks and hand sanitizer and all of these things from Roger because our supply chain pivoted very quickly to be able to provide those things. We were getting them for the hospitals before they were getting them from the traditional places they were getting them from because they trusted us enough to know that we would only select factories that had the safety protocols in place and had a high quality product that they could stand behind because we told them they could.
Yeah.
Right? So our success or failure during the pandemic largely was dedicated to the fact that we had spent all of our time building these trust-based relationships that afforded us the opportunity to be able to thread that needle during the pandemic and still be in business.
Right.
I don't know how to give a better story than that in reality. So we made a bunch of people mad, Tyler. I hope you know that. Like we just made a bunch of people really angry because
there's an opportunity.
But really what we said to them was, if you put the time in and do the work correctly, there is a return. which to everybody, all they hear is that means I have to do more work.
Right.
So Tyler, if I'm mad right now and you wanted to give me a trap door, an easy way out, what would be the one thing that you would want people if they were going to be mad about this and walk away from it like, well, what the hell am I supposed to do?
Oh man. If you're mad about it, just remember that it's all about your community.
There you go, buddy.
That it's all about your audience and that it's going to take time because social media is a long play. There's one thing I ask everybody that I work with is, what's your goals on social media? And if their first answer is, I want to go viral or I want to make a bunch of money, I'm going to say, hey, this might not work out for you then, because that's not the goal. The goal is to build authentic relationships. And it's okay. You're going to fail. You're not going to do it right the first time or the second time or the third time, but just stay consistent because it's worth it in the end, because your audience and your community is worth it in the end.
Social for a reason.
Exactly.
You have to be social with it.
Social media is called social media.
Yeah. I think that it gets misconstrued with the virality of videos. And little known fact about a lot of influencers is that they do not make their money off of video views. Yes, some do, but most of their wealth and most of their income does not come through video views at all whatsoever. And going viral for a small business could actually be not the right thing you want to do for your channel, because it brings in a whole new audience that, like, if you're trying to get local people to come to your store here, what good is it for someone in California to see your video?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Brings you got a bunch of new followers for it, but it doesn't necessarily help in the way that you think it's going to help.
It doesn't translate. I had a client who was a dog groomer, and we had a post hit. We had a video that hit. It was like a meme-ish video that hit almost 4 million views. You know how many customers I got from that? Zero. Zero.
I believe it. And
100%. Is it cool to see the numbers go up? Sure, but it's
a vanity
that's
metric.
not the goal. It's a vanity metric.
But I got 4 million. Come on now. Where's
views.
my money?
I think they earned like 3 cents off of that video, to be honest. That was it.
Hey, Eric, I think Tyler we should just slot him in on the regular.
Yeah.
Because I know there's a lot of people out there right now because we've all lived it, right? You're a small business person. I'm a small business person. You serve small business people. This is not easy.
Mm-mm.
So we're not going to sit here and try to pretend like it's not easy. But Eric, you've done okay with this. What in your evolution along the way? What was the key that sort of unlocked a phase of growth for you that someone might be interested in hearing about?
I think the biggest thing, and Tyler had mentioned this earlier, for me was actually taking Tyler's advice and really just being that authentic person, right? Letting go of the perception that, I need to be, the suit and tie, type real estate agent. I need to be the most successful person that what I thought people would want to do business with. But when I show up to an appointment with, collared shirt on and a backwards hat, this is who the hell I am. What? I'm not going to try to pretend to be anybody I'm not, right? If I wear a sport coat, some days, awesome, right? It's just because I felt like dressing up. It's not because I was
going to daddy-daughter dance later.
I had a daddy-daughter. But no, it was just being that authentic person and realizing that people are going to like it or hate it. It doesn't matter, right? Because those people that don't like it, good. I don't want to do business with you anyways.
Right.
And that's the type of attitude that is really hard when you're a business owner. No, I need all the customers. Bring them all to me. It's trust me. I've been in this business long enough to know when I started, that was my mindset, but now I don't want to work with some people because those are the most difficult people that I'm working with, that are draining my time, my energy, my resources, where I could be spending them doing other things and working with the people that actually want to work with me. Right. So it's this trade-off. The paycheck's great, but I don't think I'm reaching as my full potential because I'm getting sucked into this area where I don't want to be.
Yeah. We'll leave it at this. If it's fun for you, the people who also believe that is fun are the people you want to do business with. Don't worry about everybody else. And if all of those other people are shouting at you, it means that they're just loud and angry, but the people who are on your corner are going to be the ones who are ultimately going to come around to you. So that's it, man. That's all. That's everything.
This has been fun.
It's been
Tyler.
tons of fun.
Thanks for having me, guys.
I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. And for those of you on social media, tag us so that we can follow you and see how you're doing. And please, if you haven't already yet, subscribe to the program. If there's anybody that you know that's a small business owner who needs help with their social media and you may want to hire Tyler, we know how to get a hold of him. So until next time, this is Roger signing out.